Hello everyone, we're still cooked. Today I'll be reading One Piece chapter 1181. Last chapter was short, very action oriented, but the results themselves were pretty devastating. So starting off with the beginning of the chapter, we got Imu's full design, revealed. And Imu looks great. Really, really like Imu's design. Then immediately after that, Imu proceeds to show that they are not messing around, right? We got Gerd's fingers chopped off, right? Not all of them, just her index fingers and her thumbs on both hands. But oh my god, like I was going, like if you saw my reaction last time, I was going freaking crazy, man, because I didn't even realize it when I looked at that panel. I was looking at like the top half of those like first two panels on that page, and it wasn't until like I registered the bottom half that I was like, oh my god. So that was pretty crazy. And then Imu, proceeded to, cut off and sever Stanson's leg and, destroyed Zoro, right? I mean, Zoro, Zoro's not dead, right? I don't think, if you want to be technical about it, I don't think Zoro got, like, necessarily one shot, but he got hurt and he was not getting back up immediately. So, that's Imu basically saying, and Imu's not even, like, I'm assuming, yeah, Imu's not even trying, right? Imu's weakened right now also, so yeah, it's a sign that Zoro would not do well, even if Zoro got back up and maybe tried again. No, Zoro would absolutely. Same with Sanji, right? I'm not going on Zoro only, but Sanji as well, right? At the end of the chapter, got destroyed as well. So yeah, the wings have fallen, right? Cooked wings. I saw that going around in the last week. So that was crazy. What else happened? Omen, right? We got this introduction of this new like ability, which is pretty cool because like when Imu first possessed Gunko, earlier in the arc, that was sort of Imu kind of arriving on Elbaf, right? Or little did we know, but back then that's sort of Imu's first debut in terms of abilities. And what did Imu show off? Domir Versi, right? This kind of new thing that we didn't really know about. And then that was sort of we kind of saw it developed, right, in the flashback, and we saw it in more uses, being more used, right? And then after, right, now we got Imu here. What do they debut with? Not Domir Versi, now a different ability. So I like that Oda's already, we had Domir Versi, and that was kind of that, but now Imu's here themselves, trying to get the work done themselves, so let's debut this new ability, Omen. And then, there's all these black flames. Like, is it Haki? Because Gaban said it's Haki, or I've never felt Haki like this before. I know in Japanese you can read it as Maki, right? Omen. The kanji, you can read it as Maki. So is that going to be sort of its own separate thing? Or is that just like a sort of an aesthetic kind of thing for like the text? Or is it actually, is it different from Haki in a way, right? Imu's already, so, I mean, their devil fruit isn't even like, something no me, it's literally the devil's fruit. So I think at this point we shouldn't treat Imu as something familiar, right, with familiar concepts. So I'm interested to see where Omen goes, right? And it also seemed to like rejuvenate the God's Knights. Last reaction I was saying that it was a one-time fast travel thing, which it did look like it kind of, but at the same time, it probably could have rejuvenated them. It seemed that Summers felt happy getting it. I don't know if it's just because he's enthusiastic about getting the Omen, or it actually like rejuvenated him, in a sense. So yeah, we got that, and then ended the chapter off with. Well, before I get to that, we also had Gunko shooting Imu shooting at the ice block, at Gunko. Right? I saw some people saying like, did Imu try to like kill Gunko for like, I guess, betraying her for what happened earlier, like with the Brook stuff, but I don't think so. I'm pretty sure Imu just tried to free Gunko and was not going to waste any more time. I don't see why Imu would kill Gunko, especially because Imu could just, Imu has her under mind control, so what's the point of, like, getting rid of her? It doesn't really make sense, right? It made sense with Saturn because, Saturn pissed Imu off a lot, and I feel like a lot of that decision that Imu made to get rid of Saturn was... A lot of it was helped by the fact that Garling was right there and ready to be promoted and seemingly probably going to be a better, Gorosei than Saturn. So I think, the availability of him made it even easier for Imu to decide, yeah, I'm just gonna get rid of him. But whereas Gunko, like, Gunko's pretty solid with the arrow fruit. I don't think Imu would want to lose that. So don't think Imu tried to kill Gunko. But anyway, right, I talked about that, and then end of the chapter, we got Loki showing up. Oh my god, dude! Oh my god, I'm so excited to see this matchup. Great, dialogue at the end with Imu recounting and realizing that Loki, Loki himself confirmed, we saw in the chapter, but Imu figuring out that Loki was the one who killed Harold. And I'm ready to see this, man. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so in terms of spoilers, let's first go over that. I pretty much don't know anything about this chapter. Now, the only thing I know is that, I'm Imu versus Loki. I think I saw that, maybe like, not an image of it. I didn't see any panels, but I'm pretty sure I think it was like on Sunday or something. I saw, a Reddit post about the spoilers. I need to stop scrolling on Sundays, dude. But I saw a Reddit post about the spoilers, and it had like, I think Loki and Imu, and I think they were talking about Shank's upscale, right? I don't know if it was predictions for it, or if, like, I think it was probably based on gifs from leakers and stuff, so I don't know. But I mean, obviously they're gonna fight. I don't know, that's not really a spoiler. So I know that, kind of, technically. And I also know that Agenda Piece kind of going crazy this week. Not really surprised. And what else? I don't know. I think that's it, right? Hype and Aura, maybe. I mean, that goes along with Agenda Piece a little bit. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I know. I don't know anything specifically, so that's good. In terms of predictions, let's do predictions. Let's see. I think we are going to see Loki's hybrid form this chapter. I think it'd be, we already saw him in his, full beast form doing stuff earlier, but now that Loki's fighting Imu, I think it'd be pretty fitting, I think, and cool if we saw the hybrid form, right? I think Oda was thinking about it. I think that's why he didn't drop the hybrid form earlier in the arc, right? Instead, he went full beast form to, like, show off, the actual Nidhogg itself. But I think Oda knew, obviously Oda knew, like, earlier in the arc that he was going to bring Imu in and have him fight Loki, so he's like, okay, I'll save the hybrid form for that. So I think we'll see that here. In terms of how Loki's going to do, he's probably going to lose, I would say. I do think, I'm about to get, I guess, into a more broad general prediction, but I think, or at least I kind of hope, that this is a Sabaody, like, 2.0. Not in, like, the exact same sense, right? I still think Sabaody is still going to be the lowest our crew has been, just because they were, like, individually separated, right? That alone is freaking crazy. But I do think this should be the second. This should get, like, close to there. Again, it's not going to be as bad because I don't think they're going to get individually separated, right? Sabaody was the worst case scenario. This is not going to be the worst case scenario, like, of all time, but I do think it's going to get close. At most, the crew will get split into, like, 2 or 3, but they're not all individually going to get separated. But nonetheless, I still think it's going to be sort of a Sabaody type situation, right? Because the last arc, we had the Gorosei show up, and we got out of there, right? We escaped, we ran away, and, we turned out fine, but now we're going against the final boss. So now it's like, if we just run away again, we're just basically doing what we did in Egghead. But it would make more sense if Oda had the Gorosei introduced, but he didn't want us to get defeated yet, so he had us run away. But now in the next arc, he has the person above the Gorosei show up. Progression-wise, it would make sense if we would then at that point we would lose, right? We were close to losing, and then we got a get out of jail free card with Joyboy's hockey, and now it's like, oh, we're good. Nope, someone else here, someone else better than them. We were already close to failing last time, so if someone above them is coming, now it's like, logically, we're done, right? At that point, it's like we can't hold on. It's done. So that's sort of the logic that I'm running on. But yeah, I just want to mention that. So I think naturally Imu is probably going to beat Loki. I don't think it's going to be a quick fight. Maybe you'll get I'm wondering, is it going to be a quick fight? Is Oda just going to go clashes, or is he actually going to have a whole fight for this chapter with Imu still coming out on top, which I do think is going to happen. In terms of anything else, we haven't seen Robin. I remember I saw someone bring up Robin hasn't, like, shown up in these last two chapters. Last time we saw them was with Saul and realizing that Biblo, is gone and the books are gone. So, she's probably, looking for Biblo, but it's strange that we haven't, gotten a perspective on what she's doing, right? Or at least her reacting to, Imu showing up, right? We haven't gotten any of that. So I'm wondering what Oda is cooking with her, or if it's just, what, I don't know. Maybe Oda didn't have time to, show her reaction to Imu showing up. So I'm interested to see that. But yeah, I mean, that's all I'm going to say. Anything can happen to this arc. I'm, very excited, honestly. It's going to be great. And as always, an L and a Rouge, please, Oda. So, let's hop in the chapter. Anything can happen, man. I'm so excited. These chapters, oh my gosh. We're in a crazy time. Let's not take this for granted, guys. Let's just, we're here. Imu's here. These sets of chapters are going to be crazy, and they're going to go down in history. So, I'm not trying to take it for granted. We're in the moment right now. And then, at some point in the future, we're not going to be here, and we're going to be like, no, I should have appreciated more. But yeah, we're here, man. Okay. Oh, let's predict reader requests. I already pulled up the chapter here, but what did we have last time? Chopper, Vegapunk, and Nami. That was interesting. I don't know. Let's go Mihawk. No, I'm not gonna go Mihawk. I'll go Buggy. I'll go Buggy. I'll go with Buggy. Haven't seen the title. We'll look at the title first. One Piece chapter 1181. Let me scroll down. A god and a devil. Whoa. Okay. That's an interesting chapter title. So I also want to bring up, I do think Luffy is probably going to show up at the end of this chapter, right? Or him in Gear 5. I think he'll get enough food, and I think I don't think, maybe he does. Maybe Imu finishes off Loki pretty quickly, and then we get to see Luffy jump in. But I do think he'll show up at least by the end of the chapter, and we'll see. That'll be, I think Oda's saving Luffy for last, right? I think that's why he had him. That's why he has him currently, in a state where he can't fight, right? He's in his old man form. So, and because Oda wants to give Loki, I think this totally makes sense. I'm glad Oda's doing this. He's giving Loki kind of a spotlight right now, especially, because of Loki's backstory. Imu killed Rox. Imu is responsible for the death of Rox, right? Leading up to it, didn't actually do the killing blow, but Domir versus Rox killed or was responsible for Harald's death as well. So it makes a lot of sense that Oda's, showcasing this, because, kind of been building up to this in this arc, even though I still think Loki's going to lose. But yeah, I do think God and the Devil refers to probably, Devil, Imu, God, Luffy, the sun god, or it could be Loki, right? Loki said he was the sun god, so it could be, or both, right? It could be either. So I think that's definitely sun god, devil, kind of, that's what it's referencing, the title. But yeah, let's see the reader request. Oh, Carrot, okay. Cover request by Nakahara Michi. Carrot sings as she strolls over sleeping panda sharks at sea. Okay, yeah, we got Carrot right here. We got an island in the back that looks like a carrot island. We got carrot buildings. Okay, and we got these ninja sharks or panda shark. Why am I saying ninja? What the hell? Okay, panda sharks. We got a little sign over here that says Ninjin Park. Maybe that's why I said ninja. I saw this ninj, and I just decided to say that. But yeah, Ninjin Park over here. It's just a sign pointing that way. There's also another sign that I assume points to this carrot island that we can't see the name of, and then we see Zoe over here. So Zoe's over here, and we have Carrot with the crown as well. So this is Carrot right now, and she's the queen. Yeah, I'm just noticing her kind of fit, right? Queen of the Mokomo Dukedom, right? On Zoe. So yeah, it's cool. Have we seen panda sharks before? I feel like we have. I just can't remember. Yeah, I can't remember. But yeah, cool, cute little cover page. Nice to see Carrot again. Okay. Let's see the. I didn't see the Oda comment this week. Why are Mr. Children's lyrics always so inspiring? Their concert was the best. Oh my god, Oda is going to concerts. Wasn't the last Oda note a concert as well? Or just music in general? That's interesting. Okay. Let's see the chapter. Oh my god. So I think this is so starting off, it was just a page. Okay. Let's scroll down right here. Memories from 14 years ago. Okay, we're getting a little flashback. We're not going to full flashback mode. It's just a panel of this flashback, but memories from 14 years ago. We get the castle, Aras Castle, I think, from 14 years ago. Then we get Loki, his perspective, when Harald, this is Harald telling Loki. We saw this in, chapter 1169, I think. But it's Harald saying, I'm the worst king in the history of Elbaf. You must kill me and take the throne, Loki. So, yeah, we remember him saying that. Next panel, Loki remembering this. Oh, we got this nice panel here. He was only 144 at the end. The giants usually live to 300. He died way too soon. You tricked my dad, right? That makes you responsible for his death. Yep. So Loki's, putting all this together. Okay, Harald was 144. I know, I'm not going to look into it right now because this is going to take too much, not take too much time, but it'll just take away time. But I remember there was I'm pretty sure issues with Harald's age a little bit. I'll have to see. I don't know if 144 was the number we already got, but yeah. I don't know, but he's 144, so it doesn't ruin Loki's point. I'm not trying to, criticize anything. I just remember the math. I'm pretty sure I don't think the math on Harald was right, back in the flashback, but I'll have to look into that more. But yeah, so 144 died way too soon, makes you responsible for his death. Nice. So Loki's saying that. Next panel, Imu. Oh my god, I like these panels. These are nice big panels of their faces. Imu saying the one suffered most from the inconvenience was Mu. Yeah, obviously. So Imu's like, yeah, who cares about you? So who cares about your dad dying? It was your dad? Screw that, man. I lost my servant. I lost my loyal freaking servant. And probably a little bit of power, maybe, right? We saw Imu was kind of freaking out when Harald died. So presume, yeah, there's a sort of limit on their, contracts. Bad things happen if one of the God's Knights die. So, yeah. So Imu saying that. Crazy that we're seeing Imu's, yeah, when I'm saying Imu saying that and we're seeing their face instead of a blob, it's still pretty surreal that we have a face reveal. Yeah, so next page rather, but yeah, next panel. We got Loki, all right. Oh, Loki had Ragnir last chapter. So Loki has Ragnir sort of going like this, ready to smack down. We got Conqueror's Haki coming in as well. Crack, I think probably just a lightning strike, right? Same sort of attack that he did on Harald to finish him off. I think he's sort of doing that here. So we see Conqueror's Haki, and we see lightning starting to form, right? Rumble, crack. And then Loki says, damn you, back then, ... from Imu. Next panel. Lightning starting to come out from the clouds. I don't care about how I'm remembered, says, I think this is Harald, and he's remembering Harald saying this. I don't care about how I'm remembered. See Harald getting stabbed, right? And then Loki's face again, charging that up. Imu just looking at Loki. That's not important. The only thing that matters is securing Elbaf's future, says Harald, from the past, smiling at Loki. Okay, just remembering, these flashes and what Harald desired and his goals, right? And Loki's thinking about all this. Isn't that right? I think, yeah, the thing is Harald continuing that. That's not important. The only thing that matters is securing Elbaf's future. Isn't that right? To Loki. And we see this lightning strike coming down, not hitting it, right? We see it in its path. Back then, what did you do to my father? Says Loki. And we see it coming in. We see the, kind of this wide shot of the sun realm with the sword in the background. Double page spread, I can tell. We're getting a double page spread. Let's zoom in one at a time. Ragnir. Okay, Ragnir. Okay, so the lightning hit Ragnir. Oh my god, can you guys hear that? Okay, give me a sec. Okay, I don't know if you guys can hear that, but I might have to edit me leaving. But anyway, Ragnir coming in. We see the lightning hit Ragnir, and it says Ragna Izuchi. And we see little Ragnir's face on the hammer. Loki hammering it down. Let me zoom out a little bit. Loki hammering it down, full of lightning charged. Imu just faces it, and then behind it, or no, it's Imu's holding their staff, right? And at the end of their staff with the clouds, this cloud monster forms, right? The ones that we saw last chapter, and it begins to shoot out, right? To, I guess, counter Loki's attack. And oh shit! Okay, I just zoomed out. Wow. Okay. Oh wait, did it come out of Imu's hand instead? Oh no, it came out of Imu's hand. I thought it came out of the end of his weapon, but no, it's Imu had the black flames in their hand and just put their hand out there and it got this big smiley face creature, and it blocked the attack. This is very similar to kind of a Conqueror's clash, or like not a Conqueror's clash. I mean, it was a Conqueror's clash when we saw it against Roger and Whitebeard, but the no touching, right? The Ryuo. So that's interesting. Is Ryuo happening here? Because they're not touching, right? The Imu's sort of black monster projectile and the Loki's hammer, Ragnir. So interesting. So yeah, Imu just straight up blocked it. Crazy. Yeah, so Imu blocked. Next panel, explosion, right? Just lightning going there. You see the black flames, moving the other way. Dun-dun. Okay, so yeah, Imu can counter Loki's attacks. Not a surprise. Next panel. Oh, Lilith. Okay, we got Lilith reacting to the shockwave. We don't see her talking, but she just like moves. They're kind of being blown away. We got Lilith and freaking Bonnie, and who is this? Am I tripping? Who's the guy with the cape? Oh, it's Sanji, right? Yeah. Yeah, I think it's Sanji. Yeah, it looks like Sanji. Okay. So Sanji's body goes flying away, I guess, and Lilith and Bonnie catch it, I think. And then, then we see Jinbei and Frankie and Nami. So they're also watching this, and, they are also kind of bracing for impact. Bunch of, wind and stuff. Okay. Loki, okay, back here. I can't believe he tanked that. Yeah, I can't believe that too. Oh, well, I can't believe that, actually. So yeah, definitely can't believe that. Loki says that and sort of brings back his hammer. Imu, now a bunch of black flames around them. What's with these black flames? What sort of power do you have, says Loki, as Imu keeps looking at him. Imu begins to do this, like last chapter. Omen. Okay. See the black flame spawn. Oh, Imu's explaining what Omen is. Okay. So Imu does this. Black flame spawns. Omen is simply Mu's military might. Mu's military. That's interesting. That made me instantly think of the Marines, right? Because they're the world government's kind of military might. But Mu's personal military might is Omen. And yeah, that makes sense, right? Because Domiyoverse was all about Imu, flipping people and making them do what he wanted. But now that Imu's here themselves, in terms of doing the dirty work and doing, more of an offensive technique, we have Omen, right? Which it makes sense why Imu would call it their military might. But Imu says that, and Imu just sort of reacts. What? And then Loki says, gigantification? What? Okay. Says Loki. And then, oh, wait, did Imu grow? Oh, shit, wait, what? Oh, my God, dude, I'm not reading these panels correctly, man. What the hell? Okay, so I'm just blind. So Imu does this, and the black flames spawn, and Imu's, forearm just grows. It just becomes this fat thing, almost like, freaking, what's it, freaking, what was it, Gladius from Dressrosa, like, the way he, uses devil fruit to increase, his forearms as well. Similar thing to that. Imu does that, and it's just growing, right? We see the next panel. Imu's growing to Loki's size. Yeah, it's simply Mu's military might. Yeah, so that's what it was. I was like, why is Loki saying gigantification? Because Imu grew to the size of Loki. So Loki says gigantification, and then Imu continues, its power dwells in all things, and has his weapon right here, and we got black flame, smiley face devil on the other side of it. And then Imu ready to throw it. It launches at Loki. Oh, and then Loki still counters it. Nice little clash right there with Ragnir. This time they do touch instead of not touching. And we see lightning off of Ragnir as well. And this nice little clash. Okay. Oh, what the hell? So Imu kind of jumps up. He kind of jumps off of the Loki's Ragnir, right? Jumps off of it. He's above Loki now. Loki looks above. Imu's ready to do a down stab. Oh my God, with his weapon. Okay, there's a little flame spawning at the end of it there. Nemesis. Oh, whoa, hey, yo, shit. Oh shit. Oh, this is not good. Loki got stabbed, and oh my, he morphed it. Imu could morph their weapon. Yeah, I just noticed that in the last panel. That did not look like what Imu's weapon previously looked like. It looked kind of like a lightning bolt sort of scythe thing. Now Imu turned it into just like a longsword, like a claymore. Oh my God! Yeah, Imu he morphed it. Like the black flame, you see, it kind of looks like a pickaxe in this panel, but the black flame releases the actual, the sword part that makes it kind of look like a claymore. Nemesis, and freaking does Link's down stab, bro. Imu trying to play Zelda 2 right here. Down stabs him. Nemesis. as the attack name. It stabs Loki through the chest. I'm assuming, yeah, chest, maybe a little bit of the throat, but stabs him. It just goes through. Oh my god. Yeah. And and Imu's Loki's height right now, so this is kind of a crazy panel right here. Yeah, Loki bleeds, kind of spits out blood. Imu's taking out the sword. Strength is an attribute, says Imu. People naturally crave. So strength is something that people naturally crave, okay? And we see Loki fall to the ground and let go of Ragnir. Next panel, Imu growing wings, so beginning to fly in the air. And yet, says Imu, that craving can be easily satisfied via corruption. And we see this panel, this kind of flashback-esque thing to Dorian Broggie in their Domir Versite form. So Imu's referring to Domir Versite. Okay, so strength is an attribute people naturally crave. So yeah, we want strength, we want to be strong, and that craving can easily be satisfied via corruption, right? Corrupting Dorian Broggie. Now they serve as military might for Imu, thereby giving them strength and fulfilling that, crave that, that Imu had. So yeah, that's sort of the process thoughts right there that Imu's going through. Interesting. So tying it back to Domir Versite. Next panel, as well as Omen, right? So they're both forms of increasing Imu's military might. It's just one is a little bit more offensive, like directly. Next panel. It requires one to submit their will to a covenant. Okay, so Imu's just very much explaining what's going on here. So covenant, we knew that. Imu's now spinning, turned it into like this freaking, what is it, like a chain on the end of it? Like, almost like, it looks like the ball, the devil smiley face ball is now chained and attached to the end of the weapon, and Imu's just swinging it around now. Merely requires one to submit their will to a covenant, and we get a look at Harald back then with the covenant. When their envy drives them, they'll achieve power, right? That's what kind of Harald experienced a little bit with, his mind getting warped, and then obviously Dorian Broggie, a little bit, I think, as well, Domir Versite. And we got this little translator's note when Imu said power. Power, Chikara, is the stated reading, though it uses the same kanji previously used for Omen, Maki, demonic aura. Okay. Interesting, okay. So Imu saying power, very interesting. And then launches that freaking smiley face devil ball. Those three things form a trinity. Those three things together form a trinity. So yeah, Omen, Domir Versite, and Covenants, I think, probably. And then, yeah, Imu launches it. Loki braces for impact, I think. Grabs a hold of Ragnir, I think. I don't know. Let's zoom out. This is a double page spread right here. Next panel. Known as Dominion. And it lands on Loki right in the face. Explodes on Loki. Yeah, so this holy trinity of power known as Dominion. So that's sort of, I guess, Imu's ability. Is that like the ability of his devil fruit? Like the main sort of ability, if you want to say that? Dominion, and then, sub-abilities fall under, Domir Versite, Covenants, and all that. Known as Dominion, shall I grant thee the power of God, says Imu. And Loki, he doesn't completely fall down. He kind of, or maybe recovered and got up. I don't know, but still has Ragnir ready to try to hit him. Imu continues, yeah, shall I grant thee the power of God in one step? Thou wouldest go far beyond humanity. And Loki, reeling from that cough, blood on his face. He smacks it down on Imu. He lands the hit. It connects. Imu reacts. Probably, didn't do anything, but we'll see. Loki saying, I don't want it. Right? I don't want your freaking power and your freaking covenants and your devil contracts. Deal with the devil. No. Right? Loki says that, smacks it down on Imu. Crackle, crackle. Creak, creak. Okay, we'll see what happens. Wheeze, wheeze. How, Loki's kind of sits down, sort of recovers from that. And then Loki continues. So, God's dominion, that's your power? It sounds more like a deal with the devil to me. Exactly. It sounds like a deal with the devil. Right? God and the devil. So, or maybe it's referring to, maybe that's what the chapter title was referring to. It was referring to Imu and their sort of dual persona, right? They call themselves God, but in reality, they're a devil. So it's like a God and a devil sort of clashing images for Imu. Loki says that next panel. Is there a difference, says Imu, between a god and a devil? Interesting. Oh, I like that line. Okay. Is there a difference between a god and a devil? Now, I think Emu's probably referring to maybe just, the power and the otherworldliness and the, sort of the, yeah, the just the grand, like the grandness of a god and their abilities and their sort of place above mortals and their higher power. I think maybe Emu's just referring to that. But it's interesting. I think, is this the first time Emu's kind of admitting that they're kind of a devil, right? They refer to themselves as God for a lot of this, right? The power of God. But now, and obviously we have been, telling ourselves as readers, right? Emu's the devil. But here Emu's kind of acknowledging, yeah, I am kind of a devil, but what's the difference between that and a god? So very interesting. I like that line drop there. I think that, now that's kind of proving my point that was what was referring to the chapter title. Next panel. Beats me, says Loki. I just know I ain't gonna let myself be dominated by anyone, right? Classic Loki right there. Loki, gets back up, holds Ragnar. Emu's still floating or flying above him with his wings. And Emu ... The world itself rejoices in a state of dominion, says Emu as Loki's charging up another lightning attack. Isn't that right? Whoa, 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 what is this? What the fuck is this? What is that? Is that Joyboy? Is that fucking Joyboy? Yo, hold up. What the hell? The world itself rejoices in a state of dominion. And the One Piece world, the Void Century, or not the Void Century, after the Void Century, the state of dominion, the state of the world government, I think. And then Emu says, isn't that right? And thinks back to, is this Joyboy? And is that, what is that? They have like a veil, almost like Gunko, kind of what, not Gunko, wait, that's Emu. No, that's Emu. Why am I not thinking? That has to be Emu. Right? Yeah. I mean, obviously they don't have the crown. I was thinking for a second, I'm like, because it reminded me of Gunko's veil that we saw like in the flashback when Rock stormed the flower room. And then I thought, no, it's probably Lily. But no, I think it's Emu, right? And Emu's thinking of this. And Emu, again, this person has the veil. I think it's Emu, just without the crown. Right? We've seen Emu. This is just basically what Emu looks like, the blob, right? Without the crown. And then we have Joy. That's Joyboy, right? Straw hat looks like they're wearing. And are they doing the Nika dance? Right? They have their hand out like this. We can't really see anything else. But they're chatting, right? We see little lines above them. But yeah, Emu, isn't that right? Oh my god, is this going to be... Is this going to be like friends to enemies, freaking doomed yaoi, dude? What is happening? Is that actually what's happening? Oh my god. So yeah, that's got to be Joyboy right there and Emu. Isn't that right? And Joyboy's smiling. What is happening? Oh my god, this is crazy. Isn't that right? Emu says that and thinks to that, but then Loki charges up another light. I mean, it's the same attack right now. He's ready to hit him again. Isn't that right? Joyboy! Whoa! Emu! Whoa! He's fucking screaming. Whoa! What got you triggered, Emu? Wow! Okay. Yeah, so that confirms that's Joyboy. Oh yeah, so what the hell? The world itself rejoices in a state of dominion. Isn't that right? Isn't that right? Joyboy, and we see Emu with their mouth wide open. Oh my god, this is like when, other, One Piece characters get mad, right? They're, right? But Emu, oh my god, this is way different from how Emu's been depicted thus far. Losing their cool, Conqueror's Haki coming out, if it is Conqueror's Haki. Isn't that right? Joyboy. Interesting, okay. So yeah, Emu's saying the world itself rejoices in a state of dominion. Isn't that right? So clearly, I don't think Joyboy believed that. But maybe, what is Emu referring to here in terms of Joyboy? Is sort of like a sarcastic way, sort of mocking him? Because I don't think Joyboy believed the world itself rejoiced in a state of dominion. Rejoices in a state of dominion. Okay, so Emu's just screaming now, and we cut back, or we're switching perspective. I guess Loki hit Emu, and we don't see that, kind of got off screen. Switching back to Luffy's POV. Oh, Luffy's not old man anymore. He's back. He's eating. He's like, nom nom. Okay. Next panel. He reacts to that, right? That attack. Okay, what we got here? Okay, this is Luffy still. Nom, I need more. Gotta eat more. Chomp, never chomp like this. I never felt anything like this before. Shoot, no, I'm so heavy, so I'm suffocating. Shoot, I'm so heavy, it feels like I'm suffocating. So Imu, Oda's got sort of, no, Oda's got two lines going on. He's got like Luffy can't understand him, but then little parentheses on what he's actually saying. So I'll just read the parentheses. Shoot, it's so heavy, it feels like I'm suffocating. What's with this guy's hockey? If I don't eat all this, we can't win. More, more. So yeah, Luffy, okay, maybe Luffy needs a little bit more food, but he's getting closer. So yeah, Luffy is reacting to Imu's hockey and the insanity of it, and he knows Loki's fighting him, and he knows I don't think you're gonna do good, Luffy, but we'll see what you can do at max strength. Next panel, Loki says, "You still lost in thoughts?" Oh, he hits Imu. Okay, connects. We see lightning off of Imu right now. You still lost in thought? That tells me one thing. You're underestimating me. As Loki launches Imu so far. He's boom. He like launches him so far away. Imu hits a tree right here. I guess a branch. I don't think it's the actual Atom tree itself, but hits like a branch, right? Hits him. Emu's now on the wall like this. Oh, very reminds me very much of Doflamingo in Dressrosa when Luffy hit him at the mountain or whatever, and then he was like like this, very similar to that. Then Emu's sort of there. He's like, cough, cough. Reacts. Oh, is he bleeding? Oh my god, that actually connected with Imu. Interesting, right? I mean, it makes sense, right? He was kind of flustered a little bit annoyed at Joyboy, and kind of underestimated him. That's exactly it. So Imu reacts to Loki now transforming into the Nidhogg we see in the background. So it's a full beast form, not hybrid. Emu's kind of a little bit scared right now, or a little bit kind of surprised. Nidhogg. And we see Loki charging up a Thorheim attack, right? Thunder Blast, and Imu sort of readying to counter with their Omen hand sign thing. Loki's attack hits Thorheim, right? It hits him. See this big blast. What happened to Imu? ... Oh, it's the end of the chapter? Imu gets hit? Maybe? Thou really hast returned. And we see Imu still with that. So did Imu do anything? Or maybe they did. They don't look that. I mean, they got like, kind of scratched in their face. A fearless smile. Imu smiling? Thou really has. Why are you smiling? What the hell? So Imu's saying Nidhogg, which is interesting because Imu already knew Nidhogg was here, right? Earlier, right? We had that whole thing at the end of that one chapter where it's like Nidhogg was here the whole time. But I guess Imu's now seeing it with like their eyes, but Imu was seeing it through Guko anyway, right? He fires off an attack and said, "Thou really hast returned." A fearless smile. Why is Imu smiling at that? What is Imu thinking of? Thou really, is it just because of like Nidhogg's power? Maybe Imu controlled Nidhogg and now Imu kind of wants to control it again, and Imu's like, you're here. Is it that sort of smile, like to satisfy their own desires? Or is it a thing where like they were friends with like the giant, like the war god, right? The warrior god that had the Nidhogg fruit originally. Like, was there some sort of relationship there? And Imu's sort of being reminded by that. That's very interesting. Smile, okay. But yeah, that was One Piece chapter 1181, and yeah, this chapter was just basically all dedicated to Imu versus Loki, which I'll take it, right? More Imu. That means we're gonna have more chapters with Imu, right? I thought maybe it wasn't gonna be that long of like a string of chapters with Imu, but yeah, we're getting more and more, right? We got Imu countering Loki right here. We see Imu, just Loki and Imu, right? The whole chapter is Loki and Imu clashes, stabbing Loki. So Imu doing pretty good, right? It's not I would say they're still doing better than Loki in this fight, but Imu does kind of, Loki does say Imu's underestimating him a little bit, not taking him seriously, kind of getting lost in his thoughts in Joyboy and allowing himself to kind of get hit. And now he's sort of getting lost in thoughts again. If he did get hit by the Thorheim and let himself do that, lost in his thoughts about the past. So what is Imu cooking? Imu's kind of stuck in the past a little bit. I thought Imu was trying to, get this done quick. That's what's very interesting about his character. Joyboy panel, another Joyboy panel, love that. That's Imu. What does that say about their relationship? I have no idea. I'm so excited. I don't know if I've said this before, but the Void Century flashback is like maybe my number one most anticipated thing in the series, aside from like, the crazy stuff like, the end, right? What happens to the world of One Piece and the characters' dreams and all that. Like, the Void Century as a whole is like, oh my god, it's up there, dude. It's like a top 3, top 1 maybe, again, thing I'm waiting for in One Piece. And this is just adding to that. Oh my god. So yeah, good chapter, honestly. I like the focus, right? Not a lot happened in terms of, blah blah blah, right? It's just a fight, but I like this dialogue. I like Loki getting this attention, right? This is kind of what this arc has been building toward, right? In terms of Loki and his past and his motivations and his enemies. Love the lines of dialogue from Imu and Joyboy and this, lots of stuff to think about in terms of Imu's character that when we get to that Void Century flashback, we're going to look back at these chapters and be like, yep, that makes sense. Yep, yeah, why didn't we? Obviously, we couldn't have thought of that at that time, but it's going to be like, yep, I know now what that's referring to. So, yeah, no break. Well, there is a break, technically, right? There's no Oda break. So, if there's a Shonen Jump break for Golden Week, every year, there's, a break for all of Shonen Jump for Golden Week, and so that means we're not going to get a chapter next week, technically, but there's no Oda break next week, or there was no scheduled Oda break. So that means if we didn't have that Golden Week break, we would have got the next chapter in next week, but we're not because of that. So in terms of leaks, whenever this happens, whenever there's supposed to be, whenever there's a scheduled Shonen Jump break, but at the same time there wasn't a scheduled Oda break, that means the chapter usually does get leaked early. But there is a situation with the leaks right now. I haven't looked too much into it, so I don't know about the future of leaks. Doesn't look great from what I understand, or maybe it's completely fine, and I don't know, or maybe we'll still get the chapter early. So maybe, I don't know, we might not get the chapter early and might have to react to that at a later point, but, if all goes well, we should get it early. But then after that means after the next chapter, we're not going to get a chapter for a while, because I assume after next chapter, if we get the next chapter, Oda will go on a break for sure, right? At that point, it will have been 3 chapters in a row. So that means if we're getting the next one early, but the one after that's supposed to have a Oda break, we're not going to get the next chapter for even longer than 2 weeks, because we're going to get it early, technically. So, yeah. That was the chapter. Anything else to say? I mean, I don't know, right? That was a very cool chapter. Glad Oda's cooking right now, and again, I think Imu's probably going to destroy everyone. I think, Luffy will show up next chapter. We saw Luffy kind of frantically eating, and, we will see that next chapter probably. But, that was about it, I think. Yeah, see ya. Bye-bye.